Hello, everyone, and actually, I didn't do a countdown. That was weird. Three, two, one, action.
Should have just left that in.
Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Restaurant Bets. This week, we're breaking down Sandhagen versus Dillashaw, which actually the card isn't too bad, but unfortunately for us, we're gonna be on a bender of a weekend, so we won't be catching these live. But that doesn't mean we can't give you our picks and what we like the most for this card. Similar to our draft this week, like I said, we're going to a bachelor party this weekend. So my mind is in bad decisions and stupid decisions and reckless decisions and decisions that just look good to the at first glance on paper. Not even on paper. They're just reckless, but it's like, oh, wouldn't those points be fucking good? So yeah. Nick, you said you have a couple. I have four
Just
picks.
two.
So
Another light week.
first, starting off nice and early, Mickey Gall over Jordan Williams at plus 140 because you
You're
know
betting
what?
on Mickey Gall.
I'm betting on Mickey Gall. Yeah,
This is very out of character for you.
exactly. Oh, extremely out of character. Like I said, I'm going reckless. I'm going stupid. I'm going just whatever. And I saw Mickey Gall on the card. Didn't know he was even still fighting. Can't remember last time I thought he was still good. And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe he turned the corner. Maybe this. I don't know who this other. What's his name? Jordan Williams. Do you know him?
It might have been good to check that before making the pick, but fuck it.
It's bachelor party weekend, dude. You don't fact check. You don't do anything. And what's funny is
We're not checking IDs here. What's the point?
we're not checking IDs. We're not checking STDs. We're checking nothing. We're not checking backgrounds. We're not checking Sherdog. We're just being like, Mickey Gall, you know what? He was supposed to be pretty good. Maybe he put it all together. Like it's COVID. You know, maybe he came back from COVID and he started doing steroids. So Mickey Gall over Jordan.
Maybe he'll put it together at age 30 something.
Yeah. No, he's only like I think he's like our age. He's not that old. That's one pick. Speaking of not very old, Macy Barber, still young, was trying to be the youngest UFC champion. Maybe some people said after the surgery she's a little bit washed, lost her power.
Wouldn't she have to win like? Wouldn't she have to win like 3 fights in the next 2 months and get a belt to do that?
Something like that. So, hey, it's not over till the fat lady sings, and she hasn't yet. And I'm riding with Macy Barber over Miranda Maverick because it seems like Miranda Maverick might be the type of, which I'm pretty sure I called her Amanda Maverick in the last episode, so my apologies on that. It just seems like she's more of a legitimate prospect with actual skill set and that could come up and be a real threat, where Macy Barber kind of seems like an athlete that if you figure her out.
I was going to say the actual prospect is the exact archetype that gets beat by athlete that makes no sense.
Exactly. So I see her at a dog at like plus 120. I'm right with Macy Barber. It's been forever since you haven't seen her at like minus 300, minus 500 when I took her against Roxanne Modafferi. Need I remind you? That one fucking hurt. Lily lost $500 on that. But yeah, you know what? Making the mistake again. Plus 120, Macy Barber. So, Nick, those are two first bets that I dare you to
I'm not gonna top those,
dummy
but I won't out dummy those. I will say this: my first pick. I am gonna in a all time, no matter which way you go, you hate yourself. I'm gonna lay the number on Sandhagen down. I've been thinking about it all week.
Mm-hmm.
I have not been able to decide if I think that TJ Dillashaw is gonna come back and look good. I have basically been flipping a coin every day of the week, and whatever the latest answer is, I'm going to take. Today, the answer is no. He will not look good. I can't get over the fact. I know he's adamant that he said all of his drug tests that weren't the one that he got busted for came back negative. So did Lance Armstrong's. Yeah. So it just. Once the science comes out to backlog your testing and we can figure out how you were doing this shit, you probably would have got busted for all of them. And on a guy that style is really predicated on that, I can't bring myself to pull the trigger on TJ, even though I really like the number. So this really, what I'm explaining to you all is why this bet should be a pass. But yeah. I'm taking Corey Sandhagen just because I think that he had that one Aljo hiccup where he He just ran into a guy that's just got really good mat skills.
Mm-hmm.
And so does TJ. Like that, if I'm nervous about something, it's not really TJ moving around and striking with Corey. It is far more that TJ just decides, okay, I've been trying to be like knock off Dominic Cruz and actually then ended up doing it better than Dominic Cruz because I was knocking people out for the last 5 years. But I feel like he's getting back and he's going to go to the well, which is what he knows best, which despite what he may have you think is wrestling. And so I'm nervous about that because he could easily just grind out Sandhagen, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know that Sandhagen's got a whole lot of offensive firepower from his back. But
I wouldn't say easily, but like Dillashaw has the skill set that if he was to build a game plan and commit to wearing him out with wrestling, he could. But
yeah,
I don't know if that's the game plan he's going in with.
And well, even and so, but again, the biggest caveat here is: did he need the EPO? Like, would Dillashaw gas in 2 rounds? Because if he does, then Sandhagen's just going to piece him up going down the stretch.
How good was he without the EPO? Like, where he was. Obviously, he got better from the EPO, but he was in the status of like, is this guy the pound for pound best? Like, it was to get toward that top. So maybe it was like that last 5%, the last 2%. We don't really know how good he was. I think you hit the nail on the head with this is like a total pass bet because one, we have no idea where Dillashaw is going to be. We don't know how much EPO was. It's been a 3-year layoff. We don't know what his style looks like. We don't know like anything about what he's supposed to be, which is exactly why I'm taking Dillashaw at plus 160 because the number looks too fucking good to pass and it's Basher weekend. We're doing dumb, stupid shit. And
I don't hate it, but like here's the thing: whichever one of us gets this wrong, we're gonna be like, "Wow, how stupid!
Yeah,
what a dummy I am!" Like either way.
Mm-hmm. If Sandhagen goes out there because this isn't
comes back
and
Sandhagen just ices him.
I was gonna say he just like puts on a clinic and it's like, damn, why did I put 1 unit on Sandhagen when on paper it should, of course he's gonna go out there and starch him. Or if TJ goes out there and looks fucking amazing or just like a head scratchingly good, kind of like when Dominic Cruz came back after surgery and was like, how is he just beat fucking Dillashaw. So it really is kind of all over the place. Maybe there's been a lot of pressure relieved from Dillashaw because of that. Maybe there's been more pressure. There's no fucking idea where we're going to be with him, but he really is fucking good. And you mentioned it with the Aljamain Sterling thing. Aljamain is one of the top grapplers and one of the top wrestling grapplers in.
I think he is the top grappler at 135.
I was gonna say in the UFC. I was just wrestling grapplers. You put it together. He's one of the top in there, and so for him to clown on Sandhagen, it says a lot about Aljo, but it doesn't necessarily say like, okay, how bad does that mean Sandhagen is? Because Aljamain Sterling could do that if he just catches you off guard for a single second, but that could be a big hole that if TJ Dillashaw
gap.
Yeah, it could be a big Eddie Bravo gap. But yeah, like so I'm taking Dillashaw. The number's too good, plus 160. Maybe just parlay all these fucking dogs together. And then you want to give your lock, and then I'll give my lock.
I'm gonna go the other way on you again. We're totally opposite this week. I'm taking Miranda Maverick. I also I'm 2 unit lock here because that's too good of a number at minus 140 to be sitting down there against Maisie Barber. When I look at what Maisie Barber has done, I know she switched camps. Sometimes a camp switch brings out a totally new fighter. Other times a camp switch is just a sign for help. Mm-hmm. Last 2 fights, lost to Roxanne Modafferi, and then just got pieced by Alexa Grasso on the feet. Now, I do think that Alexa Grasso would piece up Miranda Maverick on the feet. Mm-hmm. So that's not like some sort of MMA math there. But really, we saw the same shit where it's, I am going to try to establish a little bit of a jab early. And then once we start throwing punches, I like Randy Johnson fastballs until my arm falls off. Mm-hmm. And that's her strategy. I haven't seen anything else. I haven't seen much in the way of takedown defense. Her ground game is obviously shit, where Miranda Maverick has a really good ground game. Her striking does enough to get her to the wrestling, where she just basically Miranda Maverick is stay long, stay long, stay long, stay long, stay long, and then clinch, and then she just does her best work on the ground, right? So I can't get over the fact I just don't see Macy Barber evolving past. Now, like we said, this is the perfect style matchup where it's Miranda Maverick is
Supposed to
first
do
5 minutes.
all of
Yeah,
this.
yeah. First 4 minutes, first 5 minutes of the fight. It's one of those where you just, all right, you've already counted the money. You're just okay. Where it's going to be 10 more minutes of this, and then in the opening minute of round 2, she just eats a right hand and dies.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
This is that.
her knees,
This
or
is that.
even halfway through first round. It's like everything's going good. Man, Miranda Maverick's jab is looking phenomenal tonight. Oh, then she's buckled. It's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, this is that
makes
fight.
no
So
sense.
well aware that could happen.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned it, I'm going with them. I just don't know that Macy. I haven't. Look, you've had about 4 or 5. You've had like 4 or 5 fights to get there, and I haven't seen really a whole lot of anything. That tells me, like, a perfect
From the
example
first
is the
girl that stood there to the person that stood there recently, you can't see really much of a progression. Now, the first person that stood there in those first 2 fights was really, really fucking good for their experience level. But then now it's like, you're not necessarily the youngest. I mean, 21 is still fucking young as shit. But it's like, okay, if you keep aging in dog years here where it takes 2 to 3 years to just add a jab or add these little components, then, maybe she is as high as the athletic ceiling is. But you can't knock an athletic ceiling because, as you can see in the UFC, it can take you a long fucking way.
Look at heavyweight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and also like, no offense to the women, but a lot of them don't have that stopping power, and it's like the ones that do, you could go far because you could basically just, but you could basically just absorb the other girl's punch. Like Miranda Maverick's not knocking out Macy Barber on the feet. Mm-hmm. Now she might take her down and beat the shit out of her like she did to your girl Liana Juja, but I mean, and that's very possible because Miranda Maverick's got a pretty nasty ground and pound. But she's not going to knock her out of the feet. So Macy Barber, as long as it's on the feet, right? She can actually freely tee off like that because, or wing punches like that, provided she's got the cardio to do so, because you don't really have to worry about too much coming back. That's by way of strikes. I mean, it's like a takedown.
It's like you don't hit as hard as me, and 2, like you don't hit hard enough to knock me out. Because even in other weight class, it's like, okay, you don't hit as hard as me, but you can still fucking end me if I miss and you hit me. Like Macy knows, like if worst is gonna do is gonna hit me, and that's why she just keeps running back and throwing punches at you. So, I mean, yeah, the logic's there, but we're not using logic this weekend. And last pick for me, if I'm thinking dumb, illogical picks, things that are just bets that are just totally Matt, I gotta stick with my boy for lock of the week, Ian Heinisch over Nasruddin Imanov. Heinisch, I think, has fucked me in like the last 3 of his bets, but there was one bet where I bet on him and he looked fantastic, and then I think he's gone 3 for 4 since. He's minus 160, so he's the favorite in this, coming off of a loss to Gastelum, but I'm counting that loss to Gastelum as a statement loss because Gastelum just showed that he is a fucking alien when it comes to just absorbing damage, unless you're also a freak athlete. And even then, you can't really put him away. It takes every ounce of you. So even though Ian Heinisch lost, there are some pretty cool highlights of him directly landing knees to Kelvin Gastelum's face, and then Gastelum just being like, nope, not today, Satan. I'm not going to go out. So I'm hoping he could just land it on this fucking Russian, and this Russian is just not
he's not Kelvin Gastelum.
I'm hoping that Kelvin Gastelum truly is just built different. And Ian Heinisch has good wrestling. He's fucking crazy. He's a madman. What other pick would I pick lock of the week with? At terrible minus odds. Like literally, he's lost 3 of his last 4, and he's a favorite in this. That's really saying something about this other guy. So minus 160, lock of the week, 2 units. Let's fucking go. If all of these hit for Bachelor Week, I'm literally gonna place. I might put all this on a parlay, and hopefully it hits while we're on Bachelor Weekend, and then we just extend the trip. We just completely ball out.
That or just spend more money on Saturday night.
Just spend more money on Saturday night. Yeah, exactly. As soon as we see that fucking last one hit, we go all the way through. Because I think all of mine are dogs except for
Ian Heinisch.
So We'll see. Maybe we'll add a few more bets in there to beef things up. So those are our bets for this week. You can find us in normal spots at the Rest Round on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can also find Nick at underscore a guy in a gi on Twitter, and you can find me at Broliva MMA on Twitter as well. So until next week, peace out, y'all.